Hello. Welcome. Welcome to story time. This is story time with Prince Daniel. Welcome to story time with Prince Daniel. This is story time with Prince Daniel. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say welcome. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am the one, the only, yours truly, the Prince of Zamunda. The Prince of Zamunda. Whatever you want to call it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now story time. I'm about to get into it. First off, I'm not gonna make it too long. I'm just gonna keep it short and simple. Let's do this. Let's do this. Well, first of all, if you got small children, make sure you keep them in the room. This here story is 18 plus. If you got babies, make sure you keep the babies in the room. This here story is 18 plus. Hello, Classy Kitchen. How are you doing? I'll be re- I said I was gonna give y'all a story time about how me and my fiance first met. I was gonna do it yesterday, but I was busy yesterday. But I'm gonna give y'all a story today. Where do I begin? It all started. This was way back when. February 18th. I'm good. I'm all right. Don't worry. I'll make sure I watch it. It might be later tonight though. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'll make sure I watch it tonight. Let me see. Let me see. Ladies and gentlemen, let me. It all started. Let me see. Let me think. The year was okay. First off, it was February 18th. It was 2026. February 18th is how we met. We met back in February. It all started off. We were just friends at the time. Yeah, we started off as just friends. Everything was cool. I wanted to get to know the person before I even popped the question. Before I thought about popping anything, I figured that we were just friends at the time. As we got closer, we started to get to know one another. After that, things got even more closer. First off, we were friends before we got together. Everything was all set in stone. We were best friends before we hooked up. We started out as close friends and ended up being something far more than that. The more we got to know each other, the girl that I'm dating was from she's from San Francisco. She lives in San Francisco. She's a Cali girl, just like the Usos. Mhm. Yeah, the Usos, they stay in California. My girlfriend, the one I'm dating right now, you know what? My fiance, she's a Cali girl too. We met in February, and from then on there, we it was I knew it was magic the moment we met. I keep saying we all the time. I gotta stop saying that. Let me see. Let me see. The first time me and my girl got together, everything was perfect. The first time we ended up together, it was like a fairy tale, as you say, a Romeo and Juliet fairy tale. The first time we met, it was magic. I knew from the very moment I looked into her eyes, I knew it was magic from the start. We started hanging out all the time. We had fun. We had our ups and downs. We had our good times. First time I met her, it was like love at first sight. February 18th, our wedding anniversary is February 18th. February 18th, we done already wrote it down on the calendar. We were best friends before we got together. We started out as best friends and ended up, you know, when a butterfly, you know, some people like to rush the butterfly to get ready to turn into a chrysalis. But the butterfly, it takes time. If you want to catch a butterfly, you got to give it time. You got to let the butterfly come to you. It's not going to come to you overnight. You got to take it slow. And when it comes to the butterfly, and that butterfly will be hard to catch. But the second you catch it, trust me, it'll come to you. See, my girl was like a butterfly. The second I caught it, the first two times, it wasn't easy. But the first time, boy, let me tell you, the woman, she was the girl of my dreams. The first time I saw her, I knew me and her had an instant connection. She was a little rough around the edges at first. All women start off that way. They all start off rough around the edges. But you know what? First time I met her, I knew it was something special about her, something I really enjoyed. Like, I can feel when my heart beats, her heart beats. When I cry, she cries. When she's happy, I'm happy. When she wakes up, I wake up. Let me tell you, the first time we met was back in February. It was like a dream of mine's. I was just getting over a nasty divorce. I was getting over a scary, nasty divorce. My last ex wife, me and her got divorced back in 2021, and I said I would never fall in love again. But the day I met my new wife, the day I met my new fiance, everything changed. I solemnly vowed I would never find another woman as good as my last ex wife. But you see, my last ex wife, things didn't work out the way I wanted it to. My last ex wife was like a pain in my behind. But this one, the one I'm with right now, was different than all the other girls I was with. The first time I met my new fiance and I had instant chemistry. First time I met her, she was a lot different than my last ex-wife. My last ex-wife was pretty bad. The first time I met my first ex-wife, we had a rocky relationship that ended up in divorce because I told my fiance that the reason why me and my first ex-wife had broken up is because I wanted kids and she didn't. Me and my first ex-wife, the reason why we got divorced, me and my first ex-wife, we wanted different things. That's why me and my first ex-wife broke up. We wanted different things. Me and my first ex-wife, it was over, but that was the day after me and my first ex-wife broke up. I met this new girl, the girl I'm dating right now. She was way better than my first ex-wife. That was the day I knew. The second I met her, it was like love at first sight. My new fiance, we started off as close friends. We ended up being something far more than just friends. I mean, the first time I met my fiance, my very my third wife, she was a keeper. I was having problems with my first wife. My first wife, that was part of the reason why me and my new fiance had gotten together. Cuz I told my new fiance that my last wife got on my nerves. My last wife, the reason why we broke up, my last wife was definitely the a nightmare. But yeah, I knew from the very moment we met, it was like my new fiance was more supportive than my last wife was. That was one of the main reasons why me and my new fiance got together. I was just getting out of a nasty relationship at the time. But you know what? I knew from the very after my last relationship went sour, I ran into this new girl, the girl I'm dating right now. I ran into her. Me and her, we just honestly instantly clicked just days before me and my first wife got divorced. This new girl I ran into now. Yeah, one of the main reasons why I hooked up with this new girl is because me and my last relationship got a divorce. That was part of the reason. But let me tell you, love is dangerous. It's it's insane. It's whatever you make it out to be. But man, let me tell you, my ex-wife and I, my last ex-wife wasn't the one for me. She broke my heart, my last ex-wife. I told my last ex-wife why she did not want to be with me anymore. I told her that I wanted to have children, but my last ex-wife did not want children. She wanted me and not the kids. I wanted children and she didn't. That was one of the main reasons why me and my last relationship did not work, because we wanted different things. That's when the new girl came into play. After leaving my last relationship, I finally hooked up with somebody who really actually understood me. After just getting out of a nasty breakup with my last ex-wife, I literally knew. The first time I met this girl, she was a way better girl than my last relationship was. I mean, definitely. She was all that in a bag of chips. And I felt like one lucky guy because the first time I met her, everything was right as rain. It felt like the weight was lifted off my shoulders after leaving a nasty divorce with my last ex-wife. Even though my last ex-wife was the reason why I broke up with my last ex-wife, I'm glad I moved on. I got me a new fiance. The first time me and my fiance first met, everything was good. The first time, me and my new relationship, we started off as close friends. And then as we grew closer towards each other, we ended up being far more than just that. We started talking all night long. We became friends in an instant. That's when I knew it was like putty in my hands. I had to leave my player ways because people like to talk because they think I'm just this bad person. Because I got people who think they know me all the time. The very moment I get into a new relationship, I mean, I got friends who are all up in my ear saying, "Don't do it." They don't want me to jump into this new relationship so soon. I had friends who tried to talk me out of jumping into a new relationship. I had like even my friends from back home told me not to jump into this new relationship. After the last relationship went sour, my friends tried to convince me not to jump into it. Don't dip my toe into the dating pool so soon. And I told them I was taking my time, slow. So I took it slow. The first time after my last relationship went sour, I took my time with this person. Me and this person, we became friends. My friends did not want me to go back to you know, they wanted me to stay a player forever. I told my friends being a player was getting old. I told them I don't want to be a player all my life. I want to, settle down and, and start a family. My friends did not understand why I couldn't just be a player forever. I told them being a player does get old at times. I told them exactly why I did not want to be in that lifestyle. I told them why I threw my player card away for a reason. My friends, instead of encouraging me to find a new relationship, they wanted me to stay a player for they wanted me to be a player forever. I had terrible friends. My friends were terrible influences. Instead of encouraging me to find a new love, they encouraged me to stay a player forever. And I told them, I don't want to be a player forever. I had to find me somebody after my last ex-wife, me and my last ex-wife broke up. My last ex-wife, me and her did not have nothing else to say to each other. We got divorced in 2021. That was the day my last ex-wife and I had broken up. That was one of the main reasons why I stayed single for so long. Because my last ex-wife, we couldn't, we had trouble communicating. We always cheated on each other. We lied to each other. We always hid things from each other. And that wasn't good. So after me and my last relationship had broken up due to our recent terrible communication, I had moved on. And that was the day. As years went on, 2026 had came up on the horizon. That was the day I met my new fiance. My new fiance and I, we had just started out just friends. We ended up being something far more than that. After a while, our friendship became closer. It was like a Norbit and Rasputia relationship that we had. Me and my new relationship, it was a Norbit and Rasputia relationship that we had. It was something much similar to that, but it was very special. I knew from the moment I met my fiance and I were going to be together forever. She was a lot more nicer than my last relationship was. Let me tell you, the time I met my fiance was February 18th. The reason why I broke up with my last relationship, my last ex wife, me and her had troubles communicating. Me and her had troubles. We always lied to each other. We always cheated on each other. We stole from each other. Like the reason why I met this new girl is because my last relationship did not cut it. My last ex-wife, we had trouble in the romance department. We ended up getting divorced 2021 on that day. My ex-wife Taylor, my ex-wife Taylor was the reason why we ended things the way we did. Like I said, I was just getting out of a nasty relationship. My friends, I asked them to encourage me to dip my toe back into the dating pool. But those knuckleheads, they wanted me to stay a player forever. And I told them I couldn't be a player forever. I had to find somebody else. After my last relationship went sour, I told them I could not stay a player forever. I had to move on to bigger and better things. So then, my last relationship, it went left. Now she's dating somebody else, and now I'm dating somebody else. Me and my last relationship, we didn't already moved on. My ex-wife and I didn't already moved on. She's moved on, I moved on. It didn't make it no better. When my friends encouraged me to stay a player forever, it did not make it any better. My friends are terrible influences. I would never take advice from any of them because they want me to be a player forever. They don't want me to, start a family. They want me to be the same player I once was. And I told them I couldn't do it no more. I could not do it anymore. My player days are way, way over. I officially ripped up my player card yesterday just to prove to my friends how serious I was about this new girl. And the reason why my last relationship was the reason why I broke up with my ex-wife. It's a story time about how me and my new fiance and I, we have a very special kind of love. But let me tell you, the first time I met my fiance, I was just getting out of a bad relationship. Like I said, make sure you clip this part. The reason why me and my new fiance got together is because I was getting out of a nasty relationship in 2021. I was just getting out of a nasty, scary relationship. So 2021 was the reason why I had no choice but to dip my toe once again back into the dating pool. I had no choice but to. 2021 was the year me and my old ex-wife had broken up. I vowed I would never fall in love again until I met this new girl. Her name is Krissy. This new girl I'm dating right now is the reason why I dipped my toe back into the dating pool. My friends are not too happy about that, but I am. I really like this girl, and if my best friends can't see that, there is no point in me having friends like that if they can't see that. My family, my stepmom, my stepsister, and stepbrother, they like my new girlfriend. They like her a lot. My stepfamily likes her. The only difference is my friends, they got really angry when I told them I was going back into the dating pool. They wanted me to be a player. They wanted me to sow my wild oats and continue sowing my wild oats. And I told them I couldn't do it no more. But I told my friends if they don't understand that I don't want to be a player anymore, that's their loss. But yeah, the reason why I met this new girl, the reason for me and her falling in love, I was just getting out of a nasty, awful relationship. That was one of the reasons why I met this new girl. The new girl I'm dating right now is the reason why we got together. After getting out of a nasty, scary relationship in 2021, my last relationship was toxic. The girl I was with last time was definitely toxic, right down to the T. In 2021, me and her got divorced. It was like the first time me and my girl got together was February 18th. We started out as close friends. Me and my fiance started out as close friends. Just days after me getting out of a nasty relationship with my toxic ex in 2021, me and my new fiance, we got together. We started out as close friends and ended up being something far more. We took our time with things. We didn't rush. We took our time with it. They say slow and steady wins the race. It was like the Isley Brothers living for the love of you. Living for the love of you. That song was playing in the background. The first time I met her, I fell in love instantly. My new fiance, the first time I met her, it was like everything just changed for the first time. It was like a meteoroid just hit planet Earth. That's how special she was to me. But my friends, they did not want me to fall in love. They got real upset when they found out I met somebody else. They wanted me to sell my wild oats and continue selling my wild oats. And I told my friends, you guys, I told them, you are bad influences. I cannot keep hanging around y'all if y'all don't continue to support me. But like they say, they won't be your friends unless they're really hanging with you like they say they are. If your friends are truly your friends and they want to ride with you like they say they're riding with you, if they're not going to support you or your happy relationship, then I don't need friends like that if they're not going to support me or support my happy relationship. I told my friends to step off and get lost. Let me tell you, like I said, the reason for me and my new fiance getting together, I had just got out of a nasty relationship with my last ex. That was part of the story time. This was story time part 1. I said the reason why me and my new fiance got together is because I was just getting out of a nasty relationship back in 2021. So yeah, that's how me and my girl first met. It was kind of a crazy, awkward situation. We actually bumped into each other. Yeah, she told me she was in a rock and roll band. My new fiance. So yeah, it was a crazy situation. The first time my fiance and I got together, we started out as close friends. We took our time with things. We didn't rush into things. Like I said, I was getting out of a nasty relationship in 2021. I wanted to see what the dating pool had to offer, but my friends didn't think it was a good idea for me to start dating again after what just happened between me and my first ex wife. And I told my friends, I said, I didn't care what they thought. If I wanted to dip my toe back into the dating pool, I will dip my toe back into the dating pool no matter what my friends thought. My friends, they encouraged me not to do that. And they encouraged me to just stay a player forever. And I told them I couldn't do it. They wanted me to stay a player like just like them. And I said I couldn't be like them no more. I had to find somebody to dip my toe into the dating pool with. So yeah, at that time, I was getting out of a disgusting, nasty relationship in 2021. The reason why I had broken up with my last ex-wife, things weren't working the way they were supposed to. But yeah, that's my story about how me and my girl first met. That's my story on how me and my fiance first met. I hope you enjoyed that story time on how me and my fiance first met. I hope you guys enjoyed that story time. But yeah, it was a good story. I must admit, if I hadn't dipped my toe back into the dating pool, I would have been single forever. But I'm glad I did it. No matter what my friends thought about it, I'm glad I did it. It's a good thing I did. I would have never married the girl of my dreams if I didn't dip my toe back into the dating pool again. The key word, the reason why I dipped my toe back into the dating pool, me and my last ex wife, we ended up getting a divorce back in 2021. That was one of the main reasons, the main key topics. The reason why me and my ex wife, the reason why I met somebody else was because me and my ex wife had got into it 2021. That was the day me and my ex-wife had broken up. That was the day I decided to jump back into the dating pool. 2021 was the day I decided to just break up with my ex-wife because we had a terrible, terrible relationship. That was probably one of the main reasons as to why I dipped my toe back into the dating pool once again. It was a crazy, crazy time. Me and my new fiance had just met, just days after me and my ex-wife got divorced in 2021. After me and my ex-wife got divorced, I knew it was over from the start. Because my ex-wife and I, we had different similar expectations. Yeah, but that was the main reason as to what brought me and my new fiance here to this place where we are right now. Because me and my new fiance, we started out as friends. We took it slow. But like I said, 2021, I had just gotten out of a bad, scary, nasty relationship. After a while, I took some time off for myself back in 2021. But when 2026 came along, I knew months after being single, I knew I had to find something that was going to keep me company. So yeah, 2026, here I am today, about to get married soon. I officially dipped my toe back into the dating pool once again. Hey, that's my story time as to how me and my new fiance first met. So once again, the reason why me and my new fiance first met, I had just gotten out of a very scary, nasty relationship back in 2021. That was part of my story. Me getting out of a nasty relationship in 2021. And then after a while, I decided to stay single for a while. 2021 had came and went. By the time 2026 came and got here, boom, there I was once again, dipping my toe back into the dating pool once again. Yeah, me and my ex-wife, we were having issues at the time. In 2021, my first ex-wife, we had problems, and yes, we did have issues. That was one of the reasons as to why me and my ex-wife had broken up. In 2021, I had decided to just stay single for a while, and then when 2026 came along, I decided after being single for so long, I decided to dip my toe back into the dating pool after me and my first ex-wife had broken up. Me and my first ex-wife didn't have the best relationship. My first ex-wife was kind of cruel to me, just like I was to her. Yeah, we had our flaws. She had her flaws and I had mine. But me and my first ex-wife, one thing we did know, we did care about each other. Even though we didn't always have the best relationship, I still care about my first wife. My first wife still cares about me. And just days after me and her got divorced in 2021, I knew when 2026 came around, my days were being single. I didn't want to be single forever, so I ended up finding somebody else to be with. So yeah, it was like a no-win situation. Mm-mm. But yeah, that's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. It's a good story though. I wasn't gonna make it too long, but I was just gonna make it a very short story. It was gonna be a very special story. No, no, no.